Hey guys, Michael Furlong here from Rentroll Maximiser, having a chat now. Initially, I was introducing you as Lia Jagielka, as somebody who is part of Coronis Now. We've been doing this for about 30, 40 minutes or so. We're now old friends. This is how you become really good friends in the real estate industry. Have a chat, find out about each other. Welcome, good morning.
How are you?
I'm really, really good. We're talking about the Coronis model, talking about your business model, and I'm really, really excited. I've been speaking to different agents because agents come to me all the time and say they want to set up a rent roll and ask me to help. I'm one, cost prohibitive. So for me to start fresh and brand new, recreate a brand new rent roll all the time, it's just really expensive. And the Coronis Now model has been an attractive opportunity for me to be able to refer people through to Jody Stainton. So tell me a little about that now. You've been with them since July last year, so we're nudging a year, coming up to? Yeah, 7 months, 8 months. But tell me a little bit about the growth, the support. Tell me a little bit about why would somebody want to go and entertain becoming a Coronis Now franchise working from home? What is it, the support? What was it that attracted you?
There's so much extra support. So if you go and open your own agency, there's no one really that you can bounce off other than friends and other people in the industry. But the Coronis Now model, all your trust accounting is done for you. So you've got all the systems, you've got everything in place, from the trust accounting software to Price Finder. Most people choose Price Finder or RP Data. We've got Price Finder. If you're looking at the fees for realestate.com, domain.com, rent.com, Coronis pay for all that, so you don't have to worry about all of those sort of overheads. So personally, it's saving me about $3,000 a month to be part of the awesome group. And then you've got the support of other people in the industry that you're working with as well.
So how many franchises are there in Melbourne, or sorry, in Victoria? Because you work in state-based, don't you? You're the state director.
Yes.
So what does that mean? What's the brief of a state director for the franchise? Is it to manage the existing franchises, or is it to grow it?
A little bit of both. So anyone that is looking at joining the Coronis Now group, they can come to me or they can go to Jody. I'm quite happy to go through them, go through everything with them, work it all out, tell them, show them whether it will benefit them or not. And if they decide to go with us, well, then we can start the onboarding program where I will be holding their hand right through, as well as Jody and Carleen as well, from making sure that they're fully licensed, got all their insurances, got everything that they need, operation and ready to go.
I had a call just recently from a client. I do a lot of work in the rent roll sales, so both due diligence, acquisition, migrating rent rolls, but more along the lines of analysing. So I had a client ring me maybe 6 weeks ago now, asking, she said, look, I'm really looking to set up my own business. I want to go and buy a rent roll, about 100. Do you know anyone that's looking to sell? And when we unlayered it, I then ended up talking to her about the Coronis Now model, because I said to her, why would you go and borrow $300,000-$400,000? You're not going to get funding for that. You will more than likely have to tap into your home loan mortgage on that. You're then probably going to set up an office rather than go straight from home. Why wouldn't you organically grow one through a support mechanism where you don't have the massive overhead to start with?
Exactly.
Perfect avatar?
It is, yes. So the Coronis Now model is mostly set for at home, so working around you, around your family. So, you know, a lot of people now, they're looking at opening their own business to have more time to spend with their kids. And it's the best model for it.
And I think, Leah, to be fair, when we look back, if we went back, say, 12 months ago, so January 2020, get my years right, working from home was probably not as common or accepted back then. Now, trying to get, I'm doing a lot of work this year with franchise groups where they're going to have a massive issue on trying to get their staff to want to come back to an office. Yep. So we're now more familiar, and I know, and you've got 4 kids, 5 kids, 4?
Between us, we've got 5.
Five,
living
yes.
with us.
Just want to make sure, yeah. So you've got 5 kids. I've only got 2, but I feel like an Uber driver because, and yesterday my son got his license, which was really good. So at least that's 1 tick. But in between recordings today, I've had to drive my daughter off. I'm got my son to school, and I work from home as well. So if I'm not, and I've been working from home now for 5 years, home based. So I go in office, but then I work home based. I don't think I could actually ever go back to an office working again permanently where I was required to be somewhere. So I think now is an opportune time for agents that are looking to really capitalize on that work from home, but with some support. Is that what you?
Definitely. When I first opened my company nearly 5 years ago, and I would tell people that I work from home, landlords and tenants were sort of a little bit taken aback, like, you know what, you don't have an office. Well, where am I going to talk to you? Well, you talk to me at your property, don't you? If you're wanting a rental appraisal, I come to your property so I can see it and give you a rental appraisal. If I'm handing keys over because you're moving in, I can meet you at the property and hand you the keys and say, welcome to your home. You know, and if we do need to have that conversation, there's so many coffee shops and everyone loves a free coffee.
Yep, absolutely. Leah, we spoke earlier, you've been in the industry nudging 20 years. I'm nudging 20 years. Time's changed. So from where we were, can you remember when you first started? You probably would be taking cash, doing daily banking. Were you ever sending out checks to landlords? Was it? Yeah, sending out checks. Okay, so completely different world. Technology. What does the Coronis Now, and I'm talking about agencies now, agents more in general are more adapt to technology, but I think sometimes we take on too many tech solutions which aren't providing the best outcome. What is it that you use? So if you've got Property Me, cloud-based, what else are you using?
Price Finder, which is cloud-based.
Cloud-based, yep.
Inspect Real Estate, cloud-based.
Inspect Real Estate, yeah.
And then you've got Renet, which is our uploaded to realestate.com, domain.com, rent.com.
Your bulk feeder, yep.
And that sort of stuff. We've also got HubSpot as a CRM as well. Plus we've got the Renet for the sales of the property management, landlords, tenants and things like that.
So you run HubSpot as a database?
So the HubSpot database is more for the Coronis directors to use. So anyone that's interested in joining the Coronis group, we have that separate.
Sure. What about your, you mentioned to me before your tenant database? Where is that through?
That one for me is through Renet. So I put all that into Renet and we can advertise as soon as a property comes up for rent. They get an email to let them know that something's come up.
Yep. You don't use IRE for that?
Not as yet. I've been using Renet. So, but you know, I'm always open to have a look around and see what else everyone else is using.
I think IRE, the BDM model, the BDM version. So inspections, do you do that through Property Me app or you
Inspect Express? Sorry.
Inspection Express. Yep. So technology. So what about? And we're also talking a little bit about before about Trello.
Yep.
So
we've got Trello as well. So I use that internally in our office, so I know where I'm at, and Fraser knows where he's at, and we're looking for a new staff member, so when they know where they're at. Yep.
So Leah, you mentioned something to me early before we were chatting off recording, and I love this. This is absolute gold because we've moved. You're not at this age. I'm at an age where we now need to actually put our kids as a part of our balance first, sometimes before our roles, our jobs. But you mentioned before, you might not even know you're saying this, but it really ticked a box for me. You were down the park with the kids and you just take your laptop. That's now the customer service that's available, isn't it? You can still run a business if you want to go on holidays, as long as you've got a laptop. And even if you haven't got a laptop, you can go to a cloud base. You can dial in anywhere. I can remember being on holidays. It'd have to be 15 years ago, going to the because I didn't have laptops back then, or mobile internet. I was going back to the concierge lounge, dialing in and doing payroll and checking in what was happening with emails. Now everything is just so mobile. We're moving really quickly, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, over Christmas, my family actually took off to Bateman's Bay. So we had 4 nights. I wasn't even in the States. So we had gone over to New South Wales before all shutdown happened again. But yes, I had my laptop and I can hotspot off my phone. So I was still receiving rent. I was waking up in the morning, receiving the rent, and then spending the day down at the beach with the family.
So just on that, you were saying to me before that the Coronis support does all the trust accounting.
Yep.
Do you do the receipting of rent, or do they do it?
Yeah, I only do that for mine. The Coronis Now model will do it for everyone new going through. So I haven't, only because of timing. So in December 2019, I acquired a real estate agency in Rosedale, which is 20 minutes down the road from me.
Yes.
So we wrote to all our landlords and tenants and saying, we've taken on this rent roll. And then in July, we then wrote to them all again going, we've just rebranded. So I felt at that stage, if I turned around and said, oh, and we're changing trust account details and everything like that right this second, it might have just been a little bit too much for everyone.
Sure.
So that's in my process for down the track. But yeah, anyone that's joining the Coronis Now brand wouldn't actually be doing their own receipting. They might just have to log on and make sure that it's all done. So that's about it.
And do you do NPS? Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, so Coronis Now do the NPS for us, so we actually don't have to do anything like that. Okay. So because all our database is combined through the systems, they can send that out every 6 months or so, make sure that everything's okay. They give us our feedbacks as well, so we know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, who's happy with us, who's not happy with us. Yep. So we can get straight onto that straight away and find.
You're surveying your landlords and tenants, Leah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I speak to a lot of agencies where they've introduced NPS, not Net Promoter Score, but they're surveying their landlords only. You know, it's there. I think you may as well, if you're going to go through and ask the question, you might as well ask the question of the person who's going to be most critical, which is your tenants. Get your tenants right, and your landlords will be fine.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit like you know, if you can focus on building the systems right, the rest of it's all just going to fall into place. So so you've got what about maintenance? Do you use Maintenance Manager, or are you just doing that?
No, everything is through PropertyMe or the Coronis system. So either way.
Fantastic. Well, so if anyone's looking at an opportunity to try and set up their own business, and they're working from home at the moment, or like you are working from an office, and wants to have a look at the opportunity, they just need to get in touch with you. We'll put the details down below. Leah, it's been absolutely fantastic chatting with you. Thank you for explaining to me the Coronis model a little bit more in depth.
Yep, lovely. Thanks, Michael.